everyone, and welcome to Tea with Me. I'm Michelle K.
I'm Michelle C.
And today we're talking about how modernity sucks.
Yes.
And just how modern life is ugly.
Yes.
Everything's ugly and
it is.
sad.
It is. And technology's taken over.
It has. So grab yourselves a drink.
Yes.
We've actually got a pot of tea today.
Yes, very sophisticated ladies.
Very posh.
I might just pop my pinky out.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, I can't.
Although not with the mug.
No, you can't really do it
Too
with a
difficult
mug.
with a
Yeah,
mug.
scrub out.
Okay, so I have a list here of things that people have said that they hate about modern life. The first one being the internet.
Yeah, well, it's got its pros, hasn't it? And it's got its cons.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it could have been great.
Yes, I do worry, though, about the younger generation, because I think the internet has got so vast now that it makes people lazy.
Very much so, but it's also a bit of an echo chamber.
Yeah.
So people get themselves into their little online communities where everyone agrees.
Yes.
And then, they can't possibly hear.
So we've lost the art of debate.
We have.
And we've closed our minds.
Yeah, well, because if anyone disagrees with you, you just have to cancel them. Because you can't possibly hear
unless they
differing
apologise.
No, even then, because you don't apologise to the mob.
No.
We
Not
know
like
that.
Bless him.
And I think also there's a massive porn issue.
Yes.
Online. I don't know what your particular feelings are with porn, but I don't think it's particularly good for the young people.
No, it's too accessible. It's far too accessible.
Yeah, because when we were young, that magazines would have been the only porn that the young lads could have gotten hold of.
Yeah.
Although
now it's
up on the top shelf in the newsagents.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's free.
Yeah.
On their phone.
I know.
Pornhub is free, isn't it?
Yes, it's and you don't need to verify either, I don't think.
I don't know.
Do any age verification or...
No, probably not.
Which is
God, it's scary, isn't it?
It is. It is.
But there are positives for the internet
as
well.
There's loads of positives.
The reason that we are here, talking with these lovely people, is because of the internet.
Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah, and the fact that I've been able to, make a career.
Yeah.
Basically, on my other channel. Yeah. Hopefully, this one will too.
Yes.
But yeah, there are massive positives for the internet.
Yeah.
Basically have encyclopedia in your pocket.
Yeah, well, the information you can... But also, there's a lot of conflicting information out there as well, so it's,
But that's when we get into the sort of the other side of modern life, which is the more social media side of things, where they censor information. And, because let's face it, the science trademark... that's a modern phenomenon.
Yeah. If you don't go along with the agenda and you say something that's slightly controversial, that's got to be deleted.
I say you need to go with the narrative.
Yes, which
we don't do.
No, we tend not to do.
We don't do that at all, as you've probably noticed.
Yes.
Oh yeah, social media. That was the next one.
Okay.
Politics getting into science. Well, that actually threads nicely on from what we were saying.
It does. Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
There is no place for politics in science. Science is science.
Science is science, and it constantly evolves and changes as, the new scientists
Well, we said in an earlier podcast, they want to set fire to science. And it's ridiculous. We need to stick with the facts. Politics, it has no place in science.
No. But
politics.
It was so funny. I was watching Katie Hopkins talking to one of those Just Stop Oil protesters who threw the soup on the painting, and this young girl with her pink hair, was like, "The science is settled on climate change." Anyone who says the science is settled is a moron.
Yes,
because science is never settled. It constantly changes. things get proven and disproven all the time. Mm-hmm. Look at Stephen Hawking. You know, a lot of his theories have been now disproven because everything evolves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Science
we're ignoring that, and we're ignoring the history of the planet. Mm-hmm. You know, with this whole climate change.
Well, the climate always changes.
It does. Yeah. It does. But we all need to prepare for the world ending.
Well, this is it, isn't it? It's like,
unless we all, you know.
There's even... It's not climate change per se, is it? It's the crisis that they are pushing.
Yes.
That it's all going to end in 10 years, or that's what they always say.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's also funding as well with science. That's a big one because, like, we've seen it doing our nutrition research.
Yes.
Like the sugar companies were funding research to skew the results.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, that's it. There's a lot of lobbying goes on.
Yeah, they've paid scientists.
You know, if you bring in, like, you look at Big Pharma and look at politics, you know, and Big Pharma's supposed to all be based on science and...
Well, it's not. It's based on profit.
Well, yeah, exactly. But a lot of people would believe that it's based on science. But that's
what they're told.
Yeah, exactly. That was the point. But yeah, it's not. It is money. It's always been money. Money and power. That's it.
Oh, this is a big one.
Okay.
Division.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. Hate how we're constantly being divided every which way we can. That's true because we're divided on race, gender. Sexual orientation,
and
class.
I mean, age maybe not so much, but we don't look after our old people.
No, but people will use your generation as a insult.
Yeah,
like you're a millennial.
Yeah,
you're a boomer. You know, it's like, well, yes,
but I think
that's when I was born.
Sometimes it can be hard not to because of all the woke stuff. You know, but we can't label anyone, you know, and assume that they're woke.
Well, we know that Gen Z are the wokest.
Yeah.
The newer generation, because...
But they're not all...
They're not all like it, no. But
those with the open minds, are there?
There's a few. But obviously that falls into the indoctrination in the education
system. Well, absolutely. Well, as, I mean, my children believe that you can only be racist against black people.
Yeah, so only white people can be racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we can be the victims of racism.
But that's because they've actually tried to change the definition of racism. So the old definition was always that it's being prejudiced and discriminating against someone of another race.
Yeah.
Now they try and put power in it because they say that in the Western countries that are predominantly white, majority white, it's the majority white people in positions of power. So they're the only ones that can be racist. But then if you flip it on them, because I've seen people interviewed and they're like, oh no, it's only, you know, white people because they're in power. They're the only ones that can be racist. They're like, okay, so what if Hispanic people, for example, become the majority in that city and they hold all the positions of power? Are they then racist? And they go, well, no.
I know.
It's like, well, where's your logic? You know, at least try and keep it consistent.
It's never consistent, though, is it?
It's never consistent,
yeah.
No.
But the whole division thing, as we know, when we've discussed before, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And we all need to stick together because we
do.
are fellow man, you know?
We are, yeah. Oh, littering. Littering is a thing about modern... The thing is, littering's always been a thing.
Well, certainly in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But it's usually the major corporations that are responsible for it. I mean, look at DuPont years ago, you know?
Yeah.
So...
I think that's a...
depends what scale you're looking at it.
Like, people littering is generally how they've been raised.
Yeah.
If they're raised to not care... I mean, we see it all the time at work. People with young children will come in and eat and they won't take their tray...
Yeah.
to the bin.
That's entitlement.
They won't clean up after themselves. So then the kids grow up not thinking they have to clean up after themselves, and it's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And fly tipping is the one that gets me.
Yes.
I hate fly tippers.
Yeah, that is.
But it's also partly the council's responsibility because they make it so damn hard for people to access the tip.
Yes.
Like where my mum and dad live, if you have a van.
Well, it's the same here.
Is it?
Yeah, but you can, if that is your domestic vehicle, and as long as it's not sign written with a business name,
right,
you can get, I think it's an allowance, you get a card, and you can have up to 12 visits a year, so 1 per month.
Right.
Which is usually sufficient, I think, for a domestic,
Should be, yeah. It depends because, well, I mean, in my local council, the bin, like the bin situation is terrible. Oh. They don't provide you with like wheelie bins and stuff. No. It's all just these bags that blow off down the road.
Yeah, and of course the seagulls get to them.
And they do, yeah.
Yeah, and then you end up with a litter situation.
You do!
Because it's everywhere.
It is everywhere. The damn seagulls. See, we live on the coast. So...
Yeah, well I do, I've done a lot of beach walks with the kids, and I'll always take a bag and pick up litter, and it's amazing what comes ashore, and all the litter in the sea, and that's a real issue. And that is
weird because it impacts the sea life.
Exactly.
And the birds, they swallow it and all that, and it's not good.
No, it's awful. So that's one I'm very much,
Yeah. But one thing I noticed, I went on a school trip to Germany, and there was no litter.
No, well, I lived in Germany for a year.
It's a completely cultural difference.
But the cultural difference over there, no shops are open on a Sunday, which is absolutely beautiful. You see families, like whole families, mum, dad, children, out rollerblading and out cycling. And they do stuff, and it's amazing. Whereas in this country, it's like, oh, it's Sunday, let's go shopping. Who wants to go shopping on a Sunday?
Not me.
No.
I tend to be working.
Sundays should be traditional family days, and that should be like a sacred thing.
Should be.
But well, that's another thing, lost traditions.
Yeah.
With modern times, the sanctity of marriage is now gone. Respect for the elders, that's gone.
Yeah, we have lost our traditional values to a certain extent.
And I think a lot of them need to come back.
They should. They definitely should.
So what's next?
Too much work all the time.
Yay!
Everything revolves around companies or businesses. Our whole lives rely on working, and everything we see and do involves a business. I'd like to see more leisure and family focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is we live in a consumer society. Literally everything you buy is... Unless you're like self-sufficient, growing all your own food and having your own animals and everything.
That sounds delightful.
It does, doesn't it? It does. We'll win the Euro Millions and buy a big plot of land somewhere.
That's what I said I'd always do if I won lots of money. It would be plot of land. I'd love a community, where we're self-sufficient.
A commune.
Yeah, no. A bit off-grid.
A hippie commune.
No, off-grid.
Yeah.
And we can educate children. Because the modern education is, I think, really failing our young people.
Yes.
But I have to, when I talk to my children, they tell me what they're learning about at school. A lot of the time I have to bite my tongue because I've put them in mainstream education. I can't put them in a position where everything they tell me, and I have to just debunk some of it and just say, actually.
Yeah.
Because, my youngest came home and said, Mum, I want to not eat meat one night a week. Because we've our teachers told us all that it's bad for the planet and blah 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 blah. So I started, and then I went, no, I'm just gonna.
Perhaps you could forward some studies onto that teacher.
I know, but that's too controversial, isn't it?
But she's spouting rubbish.
I know, but that's what she's paid to do. And this is the situation we're in.
I don't believe that teachers are paid to tell children that eating meat is bad for the environment.
No, but it's the agenda, isn't it? It's what they're driving with the whole climate change. And politics is in education. Politics is in everything now.
Yeah. It has no place in the classroom.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. The classroom has got its own politics with children all just, learning social skills at that young age, and they should be allowed to be children, but they're not. It's all... But yeah. What was... So working all the time. Well, that's, another thing we discussed in our first podcast with feminism, because women have to go out to work, and my children have certainly told me off, Mum, you're always at work. or you're always busy.
You don't have a choice.
And it's like I'm trying to go to work as much as I can, but also keeping the house and finding time to spend with them. And I try my hardest to spend time with them, but I don't feel like it's enough. And they probably don't either. Yeah. And this is another reason we're failing our young people.
I know.
The nuclear
feel so
family,
bad.
you know.
Yeah.
It's.
But I have to work the weekends.
Yeah.
But it then means that I lose out on time with my daughter.
Yeah.
And my husband.
Yeah.
But I have to, because I made that commitment to pay for her school.
Yeah.
So I have to do it.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
Until I can make enough money on YouTube.
Yes.
To, offset that.
Yeah.
Then I can say.
Well,
bye.
that's it, isn't it? The idea of having income that's takes up a lot less time.
Yeah. And it's what you enjoy.
Yes.
And just, I think the nice thing about being self-employed is
the flexibility.
The flexibility, and you work when you want to work. There are YouTubers that put up a video every day.
Yeah.
And I know I can't do that.
No.
Especially not in the school holidays.
No.
But yeah.
Have Disney on in the background. It's fine.
Disney. Oh God. Talk about indoctrination. Technology in general.
Well, again, this is it's a big yay and a big nay. It's got its pluses.
Yeah.
Because it has driven us forward, but it's broken down society in
the social
doing so.
Yeah. I mean, you think about when we were kids.
Well, I didn't have a mobile phone till I was 15, and they were only sort of quite new then.
Same. I was working, and I bought my first phone.
And it was about this big. It was a brick, and it had an aerial, and it was
Mine did have a little aerial, yeah.
It was a Motorola,
do you know,
and all I could do was text and make phone calls, and then a little while after that, they brought out the Nokia ones, and then you could sit and play Snake all day.
Snake
Good old
was
days.
A great
but
game.
They're video games. I mean, you look at some of the old video games, and they were amazing. And now it's all like violence.
It is all violence.
Let's just it's like kids playing Fortnite. Yeah. What's the point?
Do you know what?
I just want to sit and shoot people all day.
Brilliant. I'm not a gamer.
No,
I've
I'm
never
not.
been a gamer.
I'm not.
I've never like my parents couldn't afford to buy us a games console or anything when we were little. I think we had this really old, you remember the tennis, the boop boop, just the lines that moved up and down. I think we had one of them. But there is one game that I really want to play, and that's Hogwarts Legacy.
I do too. Cheers to that. Yeah, no, I really do.
Cheers to Hogwarts. Yeah.
Really do, because the kids are into Harry Potter as well.
Yeah, I love it.
I do. I do. So yeah, I actually went to Hogwarts, took the kids back end of last year, and it was magical.
The Warner Brothers studio tour.
Yes, in London. Absolutely
so
amazing. But yeah, and you picture it so vast, don't you? And it just puts everything into perspective. But the work that was involved as well, every
the size of that model
detail
that they used for all the exterior shots, is amazing.
When you see that, it's just wow, mind blowing. Totally recommend a visit.
The first time I went with my sister, and our minds were literally blown.
Yeah,
and we'd even teared up.
Did you?
It was ridiculous, but it was a big part of people's lives.
Yeah, and I think it still is. It still is.
It's a tale as old as time, isn't it?
Yes.
The hero and the villain.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's some good moral lessons in it.
Yeah, I think so.
About
I think so.
friendship.
But that friendship theme that runs right through is just beautiful. I like it.
Yeah.
I do like it.
Yeah. So Hogwarts Legacy, that is a game I would play.
Yeah, but other than that,
also
a lot
get
of
to stick it to the lefties.
I think we should do away with Call of Duty. Don't need that. Do away with all of these zombie apocalypse games, and they're just.
Yeah.
I mean, like the age-old Warcraft, where you built little, and it was strategic. I kind of get.
Think about.
Yeah,
things,
I get that, but let's just go and hide in this building and shoot people and not get found. Just seems a bit like.
I mean, there's an element of skill to all of these
things.
Yeah,
I don't dispute that, but I just think the element of skill could be more so, like with other games. There's a lot
of the
more
kids are into
skill.
Minecraft, aren't they?
Yeah, I suppose that's quite skillful. I've
That's
never
building
really
things,
got
isn't
into
it? I haven't.
it.
No.
Or there's what is it? Sims 4. My children play, where you literally just build a house, and then there's cheat codes so you can get loads of money if you put in this. I don't.
Can I have a cheat code to get loads of money?
You just yeah, it's all digital, so not real currency, but yeah.
But I just remember how much simpler life seemed before everyone had mobile phones and internet.
Yeah, because we knew how to have conversations.
Yeah, I remember all the socialising and all
Here's
the kids would be playing out.
Here's
an
issue
stuck in their phone.
Yeah, with technology. When you send a text message to somebody, there's no body language or tone or anything, and it's so easily misconstrued, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
And we have forgotten the art of conversation.
And letter writing.
Yes.
Don't get letters anymore.
No, and actually sometimes when I'm on the laptop I do get frustrated because I do a lot on my phone, and of course it puts in the apostrophes and everything and all the grammar
when you've got to do it yourself.
When you it's made us lazy.
It has.
And we need to. It would have been all right if that freed us up for more constructive pursuits, but it doesn't. It frees us up to do more nothing, or. So the art of like just driving ourselves,
Yeah, absolutely.
We need more of that.
Life isn't like television. The combination of social media and reality TV seems to be leading people to believe they're like the main character in life,
but I want
they
to
have
go
an audience.
Stay on a boat and have everyone watch it and fall in love with some stranger.
To then break up a month later when we've made our money. Yeah.
I've never engaged in Love Island or any of the reality TV shows, and some of them, I think to myself, they are vacuous, and people go on and it's like, oh, there's an episode of, and I'm just like, really?
Well, they're only there for the fame, aren't they?
Yeah.
And the money.
Yeah.
And that's it. So it is completely disingenuous to call it Love Island.
People are getting paid, and they're not really displaying any real talent. There's people out there with real talent.
Well, that's people's arguments against the Kardashians, isn't it? Is they've amassed.
Well, I was holding back on that.
This vast
if you're going to go there, if you're going to go there, why? I know. I don't get it.
I don't know. But yeah, people do go around acting like they're the main character these days, and everyone's filming everything.
Yeah,
like if they've got a slight disagreement with somebody, they'll film it. Unbelievable.
I know.
Trying to catch people out and all that.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
But it's also, everyone sort of then thinks it's just to bring drama into everyday lives as well, and post it all on social media.
I'm not here for the drama.
I don't ever endlessly scroll through my news feed on Facebook.
No.
Have it there for Marketplace mainly.
There are some people I have to mute.
Do. And it's just, there's just really pointless, Yeah. And I just think, you don't need to advertise your life. There's another tradition. There's no discretion anymore. No one's discreet in modern life.
No.
Everyone airs their laundry in public, and it's just, that's fine. Let's just do it publicly on social media for all to see. No, I think it's distasteful, and we need some tradition back.
And there's also the back on the social media thing. It gives people a false sense of what someone's life is like.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of kids today are judging their own life compared to these influencers, and it's like, but you're not seeing everything.
No.
You're seeing like a tiny posed photoshopped moment.
Yeah.
And it's not real.
That's another thing. I challenged actually some people a couple of years ago, New Year's Eve. I said, right, make it your New Year's resolution to post photos of yourself. If you must post photos of yourself, don't filter them.
No filters.
What is the point?
People know what you look like.
Yeah, let's all be fake.
Yeah.
It just encourages our young people to be fake. My daughter wanted Snapchat.
To judge themselves so harshly.
I know.
Because it's like, oh, hang on, my skin isn't perfectly smooth. Yeah, we all have pores.
Yeah.
But that's
and all the girls in magazines have been airbrushed.
They have been. There's no moles or freckles
Yeah.
or anything in sight.
So I think my biggest point was we are too filtered, both verbally and...
Well, we're censored verbally.
Well, censored, but to the point where it drives us to filter because we don't want to be censored. So you have a choice, don't you?
Yeah.
And it tends to go down the kind of a bit more filtered route, unless you've got a huge following and you kind of just respect it already.
Yeah,
then perhaps
like Joe Rogan, he can kind of get away with saying genuine things because he is uncancelable.
Yeah.
And also J.K. Rowling, she's uncancelable. They've tried. They've tried many times to cancel her because she believes in biology.
How dare she?
How dare she? I know. But that's controversial these days.
I know, science.
To think that women who have been abused deserve to have a single-sex safe house. That's controversial in this day and age.
But I think, we could award the same for men.
There are men-only ones.
Then
but it's not women who think they're men trying to get into the men's ones, No. It's always the other way around.
Yeah.
It's like we're getting on to other topics.
Yes, right. Yes. Well, that's an issue in Scotland at the minute, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
very
with
much
the prisons,
so.
But yeah.
No one is nice. The lack of empathy everyone seems to have. Some people are more concerned with being right than actually having a conversation, and they're so close-minded.
Yes.
It's true.
Well, look at the young now that have been so indoctrinated that they're going to save the world by protesting. Lots and lots and lots and lots. And really, it's just very closed.
Well, because
there's no
the
debate.
Science is settled.
Oh, yes, of course. I forgot.
So they can't listen to anything else that would even attempt to disprove that.
No.
Because the science is settled as far as they're concerned.
Which is insane.
No, it is insane. But yeah, I do think people haven't really changed.
We are still nice.
We are still.
We just don't show it.
Nice. It's just the problem is you only see like the extremes, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing with the internet is the extremes are broadcast, and most people are pretty middle of the road. You know, they don't really care either way.
No.
As long as they can live.
Yeah.
They're just happy. They just want to get on with their lives.
Yeah. Well, it's like Andrew Tate says, the world and life isn't...
She's been watching Andrew Tate.
Yeah. The world isn't black and white.
No, it's not.
It's grey, And what is nice, is following a narrative because somebody's told you that's the right thing to do. Is that nice? I think how young people kind of think it is. Well, they think they're being nice to the planet and
feelings over facts and all that. You can't possibly upset someone.
Oh, I know, which is ridiculous.
But it's like, what is the nice thing to do in that situation? Do you go along with their delusion so that you protect their feelings, or do you go with the facts and try and help them?
Well, sometimes it's a hard one because when you've got somebody who's really stubborn and really convinced that they're right, when deep down they're really not.
Yeah.
I kind of view that as a helpless situation.
Yeah, you've got to just agree to disagree and move
on. Then it's just, let's just, okay, you've got your opinion, I've got mine, that's fine. But actually, I find it's more the people that are wrong that are not willing to have the conversation. And also, they're more likely to cut you off if you don't agree with them.
Yeah.
Which I think really isn't nice. We're all entitled to our opinions, But it does encourage us to not be nice. Yeah. But I don't know that no one is nice. I like to think that there's... I quite often, something will happen and I think, you've restored my faith in humanity.
Yes.
There are nice people out there.
I think most really people are generally nice.
So yeah, mission everyone, just do one nice thing every day.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, how expensive it's getting to survive.
Well,
this is something we're going through in the Western world at the moment.
It's huge. It's
ridiculous.
A huge problem. And actually, Jordan Peterson broke it down and went to his recent show with Joe Rogan, and he talks about the pyramid, and everyone at the top is obviously fine.
Yeah.
But what happens when these things happen, and like with the energy hike and all this kind of stuff, you know, it doesn't take much to tip people.
Mass death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you think of people that are already vulnerable. Mm-hmm. If they haven't got sufficient nutrition and sufficient heat, they are then pushed. They will
die. Yeah.
They will die, and it's brutal.
Yeah.
It really is brutal. So yeah,
but then most people are 1 or 2 paychecks away from trouble.
Yeah.
Real trouble.
Yeah.
Most people these days don't really have savings anymore because everything costs so much. And when you're in a relationship, generally both people have to work because the cost of living is so high now that you can't just... Like, I was really lucky to be a stay-at-home mum for 4 years.
Yeah.
But if Tom hadn't been military and we weren't in subsidised housing, we couldn't have done it. We couldn't have. Even then it was a struggle and we got into like credit card situations and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the cost of living is insane. And I mean, you end up going down these conspiracy theory routes with it as to why they want everything so expensive that you can't live.
Well, I mean, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?
This is the problem, isn't it?
You know,
when you're red-pilled, there's no coming back.
There's no coming back. But it's like we said, you know, a lot of the stuff that we said is going to happen has happened. You know, so I mean, personally, I think a lot of it is population reduction.
It seems to be.
Is driving us. And of course, you know, if we're divided, we're easier to control. If there's fewer of us, we're easier to control.
If we're unarmed.
If we're unarmed, yeah. If we're like foggy.
Americans.
Undernourished.
Americans, don't let them take your guns away.
No, don't.
Don't do it.
No.
Because you've seen what's happening over here in the UK and in Australia. They took our guns away. And now we're just at prey.
Yeah.
You know?
But no. I think we will win in the end.
We will win in the end. They're going to push people too far. It's coming. People are pushing back.
Well, it's the end, actually, towards the end of all the COVID lockdowns. And by the time we went into this... Were there 3 or was there just 2?
I think there was 3.
Yeah, there was 3. But certainly by the 3rd... the compliance level had dropped significantly.
Yeah. And I saw more people in the supermarkets like myself not wearing a mask and stuff when it was still law, even though it wasn't.
Even though the science didn't back it up. We go down the science route again. You know, the science did not support it.
No.
And actually the science stated that if we did,
it made no difference.
But it affected us.
Yeah, poor health. From wearing a mask,
So it's like, I'm not going to do that.
That's why I was like...
It's an exercise in futility. All I'm going to do is damage my own...
I was glad that Lila was too young to be in school at that point because they were making the kids wear them, weren't they?
They actually, one of the schools in the county, the parents did exactly what I would have done. And said their child was exempt, and so they gave him a yellow Star of David to wear, which is very questionable. Yes, where have we seen that in history? It's awful, absolutely awful. But we have digressed.
We have, I'm not going to touch on that one because that's too much focus on money, and we've already talked about
consumerism, money. But that's again, but like it's just we're bored and lazy.
Yeah. Oh, look, how people think their opinions are like facts. And if people don't feel the same, they're the enemy. Yeah, I mean,
we said that.
We were talking about that before. It's the social media echo chamber thing again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anti-intellectualism.
Well, I know how like the alleged COVID pandemic.
You're going to cancel us.
No, I'm just saying the word alleged. We can edit me out. It's fine. But no, all right, the COVID pandemic, I saw that break down friendships and families because
Very much so.
of the debates.
Yeah.
And I mean, people stopped talking to me because they thought I was loopy.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. No, it's true.
When we're all living in our 15-minute cities, you can call me loopy then.
Me and my husband were talking about the 15-minute city thing. If you didn't see our previous episode, check it out.
Yeah.
And we live in a very liberal area of the country, being on the coast.
Yes.
You do find that in the UK, that the coastal towns tend to be sort of liberal hotspots.
Yeah.
For some reason, or I don't know why. Maybe it's the sea air.
Yeah.
Sends us all doolally. But, and he was like, I'm really concerned that it will come here. It'll be...
Well, it will do. If it unfolds.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're starting it in like Oxford, Canterbury, etc. But
have you seen that Oxford residents have been fighting back though?
No, I've not actually.
That's amazing.
I need to touch back in.
They've been putting the bollard things up to like shut the roads, and they've been setting them on fire and ripping them out and all that. It was brilliant. It was lovely to see.
Yes, we need to fight back.
Yeah,
people.
The pushback has begun.
Yes.
Yeah. Let us know what your least favourite thing about the modern world is. We didn't even touch on architecture and art because that...
Modern architecture.
I mean, that's just hideous.
And like I look at some buildings and I just think it's not even like a really good use of space.
No.
It's not, because you can understand making an ugly building if the purpose, kind of goes beyond the aesthetics. That's fine, because that's functional. But when it's not even that, it's like, that's like...
Yeah.
And
it's
I mean,
the whole
even
glass and steel and concrete, it's just... Nothing is appealing about it, is it?
No,
you look at
isn't.
like beautiful Georgian buildings and...
Oh, and they were built to last as well. I mean,
people still want to live in them.
Some of these housing estates that I've seen knocked up very quickly over the past decade, and you drive past them now and the render is already failing and you just think, why? Because
they don't put any time or effort into
the budget, it's all...
Well, they want as much profit as
ridiculous,
possible,
but like years ago, we didn't have, obviously, and I mean, I'm talking like hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
When men were men.
Georgian, Victorian,
and they built
Edwardian.
These things, and that's all like lost art.
It is.
And we, we chuck things up now, and they're ugly.
And don't even get me started on modern art.
No. Well, some of the famous paintings that, have been sold for colossal amounts of money.
When it's just a load of spots. Different coloured spots, honestly.
I quite like Dali's, Salvador Dali's melting clocks and like...
Well, that's actual talent.
Yeah.
There's talent that went into
Picasso, I love Picasso.
Yeah, see, I'm much more... I love the Portrait Gallery.
Okay.
The National Portrait Gallery in London. Beautiful pictures.
Yeah.
I'm not so much a landscape person, but I can appreciate a Monet.
Yes.
And a Turner.
Yeah.
I can appreciate them, but I don't want to go around and look at all of them. But I think the portraits, I guess I'm just interested in people's faces.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, art's it's supposed to be like a timeless expression, and I can appreciate art, but yeah, some of the modern ones are not.
Yeah, who is that woman? Tracy something.
Don't know.
This artist. Who did a thing in the gallery. It was like her messy bed. And it was just a bed that had been slept in. And there was like cigarette butts in the ashtray and stuff like that. Yes. And it was like, that's art. I have a messy bed.
Well, paint it.
Well, yeah. But it wasn't even, it was just the bed in the art gallery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll not do the dishes,
God,
and then
what was her name?
I'll move my kitchen to her.
It's Tracy something or other. I can't think of it. If I can think of it, I'll put it in text.
So if we just don't do our dishes, maybe take a photo.
Take a photo of it.
And
yeah. But this is it. This is. I think this is a lot of people's thing with modern art is there doesn't seem to actually be any talent.
No, but I mean, look at where technology has taken, like the music industry. Some of it, you know, and some there's no live singing.
Yeah.
You know, well there is, but it's few and far between.
That's when you realise who can sing and who can't sing. Is when they have to sing live. About all the auto tune and all that.
Yeah, and that's kind of ruined it because people get a lot of money for what they look like, perhaps, rather than actual talent.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a bit sad. It's a bit sad.
It is a bit sad. But yeah, so modern life sucks.
Yes.
In general.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think we've...
But onwards and upwards. We've just got to make sure it doesn't suck more.
Yeah.
Like with the 15-minute cities.
Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that.
We've got to,
We don't want socialism and communism to come.
Live in the pond and eat the bugs.
No. No, Klaus. I will not.
No.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And we'll see you soon.
Cheers.